Good morning, Bucknutters. It is Tuesday, September 12th, 2017. I am Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 and Change. Yes, we are doing a show this week, despite many people jumping off ship. And yes, in standard Dayton and Columbus fashion, it is now gray outside to mimic the feelings of the fan base. Duane, we're going to get right into it today. Today's show is called What If Duane was head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes football team. Now, it means Duane wouldn't be doing this call because if he was making that much money, he certainly wouldn't be getting up this early. But I digress. Duane, how are you this fine morning?
Well, gloom is where we're at. I figured that we would have victory over Oklahoma in our pockets right now and just be on to the next thing, on to getting ready to enjoy the next few games and basically get ready for Maryland and Penn State. And we need to not overlook Maryland.
Enjoy is not a word that we've been using lately. Obviously, that was a horrible, horrible experience on Saturday. It was close for a while. Ohio State even took a third-quarter lead before the Fighting Baker Mayfields just tore them apart. This is an aside. Please don't spend a lot of time worrying about what Baker Mayfield did. You win, you get to do what you want. You lose, you got to zip it. So that's how I feel on that. But seriously, folks, we're going to do Duane as head coach, and we're not going to beat around the bush here. There is one topic dominating, and it's the one we'll address first. Duane, if you were the head coach of Ohio State's football team, what would you do with the quarterback position?
I would kind of open it up, so to speak, as to, you know, we've got 3 cupcakes in a row. Let's bring in the other kids. Let them throw the ball around a little bit, and let's see if that's where the problem is. Is we're putting this squarely on Barrett. And at this point, I'm not defending him. I'm saying we have a broken passing game. It is broken. It is not working in any way, shape, or form. Now, is it the higher-ups? Is it the quarterback? Or is it the receivers? We need to do some things to find out what the problem is. We could put these guys in both, and I would put both Haskins and Burrow in there and see, can these guys complete passes? And I'd put them in when the game is still on line. Mop-up duty doesn't do anything. They talk about, well, he'll gain experience. No, you don't. You don't gain experience from mop-up time. You get in the game. That's all you do. The other team's beaten. They're not really fighting hard. You're working with backups. They're working with backups. It's just not conducive to learning how to play a position. So put these guys in earlier, and let's let them throw the ball around. Let's see if that is where the problem is. And if it is, if these guys are completing passes, then we gotta make a decision. Like I said, Maryland cannot be overlooked at this point. It's got Penn State right after. We have to, we need to be ready for those games. We need to make a decision. And if he's the problem, then I'm sorry. This thing, Erlenmeyer is not here to make friends and have a kumbaya moment. He needs to do what's in the best interest of the football team. And if that means J.T. Barrett, who has served us well, if he needs to sit, then he needs to sit. We haven't seen J.T. Barrett be really great in a couple of years now. And now here we're into a third year of the passing game struggling. So I think that what Meyer needs to do is give the other guys the ball with the game on the line, and let's see if they're ready to be the quarterbacks that could. I mean, we're not out of this. We lost early in the national championship year. Last year we lost mid-season, still made the playoffs. So that we're out of this thing is kind of ridiculous. So let's try to fix it. Let's try to fix it now. And we start with, let's see if the quarterback's the problem.
Once you move the quarterback out of there, he's pretty much done. That's my opinion on that. I'm not averse to doing that. Listen, my vibe on this coming in was I thought that Kevin Wilson could give us the JT back of 2014. That was plenty good enough. Even with all the quarterbacks that have played for us, I would say that 2014 JT at his best was the best we've had. So I guess I was just hoping that would come back. I don't see it. I've held out hope. He looks gun-shy to me. It is possible for quarterbacks to kind of lose their mojo. I've covered an NFL team where a kid got hit so much early on that he never really got it back. And that is possible for a quarterback. I'm not saying he's Chuck Knobloch or Mark Wohlers here, but he looks clueless to me. He looks gun-shy. I don't see the receivers making plays around him. Terry McLaurin, guys like KJ Hill, they look like mediocre players to me. Those don't look like the kind of receivers a team like Ohio State should have. My feeling is your skill players should all be borderline first-round draft picks the way they've been recruited. And maybe that will happen now with Ben Victor and Trevon Grimes on the roster. They certainly haven't stepped up yet. So I can't argue with anything you said. I would love to see them mix it up. And I think you make a good point, is they have several games to work on whatever. And anyone who thinks they're out of it in terms of the playoffs is crazy. They're ranked 8th or 9th, depending on what poll you look at, with two of the teams. They play two of the teams ahead of them. So they're obviously not out of it. That's silliness. Okay, back to Duane as coach. The other major issue with the team right now, Duane, what would you do to address the secondary?
I don't know what can be done, Dan. We're playing the best guys we got. This thing, I've been warning this. I brought it up several times on the message boards. Yeah, it's great bringing these first-round picks, getting these first-round picks because it gets us, other guys will be first-round picks. But it also means we've got really young guys in there who have not played a lot of football. And people are saying, well, go to Okudah and Wade. Well, they have not played. Ward has played, and I think he's playing pretty damn well. And Sheffield, he has at least played at the college level. And Arnett, I wasn't impressed with him. All this talk about him, I just didn't think that Arnett he just didn't impress me, and I'm still waiting on him to impress me. I at least see Sheffield as a guy that can get better. I'm just not seeing where Arnett's going to be a top cornerback at this level. I just don't see it. Now we could. You want to try Okudah and Wade? We could do that, but realize you're still dealing with guys who are very young, and I don't need to pull up the names. We have seen some really excellent cornerbacks come in here that were eventually excellent who did not play well their first year. So I don't know if I think we got to roll with what we got and let them gain experience, and they'll get better as the season wears on. I just don't know if you could go with Okudah and Wade and expect them to be better right away. History says that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I think the question is, like you mentioned, if they're going to do something at the Arnett spot. I don't think they'll do anything, by the way. I would not be averse to at least getting Okudah some snaps, though. At some point in time, if everyone's going to be making mistakes, I just prefer to go with a more talented guy who's got a longer shelf life here. Okudah does not strike me as someone who will be overwhelmed. Yes, you're going to have standard. I mean, he's not going to go in there and be perfect. Good Lord, we saw Marshawn Lattimore go in there as the third corner a couple of years ago and look clueless. You know, a year later, he was a stud, and a year later from that, I was watching him last night, locked up in man coverage on Monday Night Football. So, prospect-wise, I feel like Okudah and even Wade, Amir Reed, those guys who have looked good in practice, have a higher upside than Arnett. But Arnett was a guy the staff was very, very high on coming into the season, even last season. He just has not played very well. So I'm not sure where to go with that. And Eric Smith at safety, good Lord. He looks like he's a spectator back there. He's clueless. I know he's a big hitter, but the idea of your free safety being a extra linebacker has gone the way of the dodo bird. Let's put an athlete back there, more Jordan Fuller. Okay, if Duane is the coach of the team, what would you do on offense? Do you believe if you were the coach, you would hand the keys over to Kevin Wilson and go get a soda? Or would you continue to try and use your offense with Kevin Wilson tweaks?
Absolutely, 100%. Let Kevin Wilson run the offense. Come on, Urban Meyer, come on. This has gotten so frustrating that this guy brings in somebody to just be a clipboard holder while he runs the offense. And we're not effective. We're not an effective offense. The last time Urban Meyer actually gave up the keys, we won a national championship. And it's just that simple. Let somebody else run it. What you did 10 years ago to win a national championship is not working right now. He's got to, that is so important, and Kevin Wilson has proven to be an outstanding offensive coordinator. The guy can run an offense, a modern offense. He's done so as a head coach. Indiana actually went bowling. Indiana doesn't go bowling because of Kevin Wilson. Give it up. What you are doing is not working. I absolutely wish, if that's the one thing, people are talking about Barrett, it's a huge issue right now, but if the one thing, see, I'm like you, I thought Kevin Wilson would give us a 2014 J.T. Barrett. Well, if he's going to continue to do the same things he has been doing the last couple of years, I don't know how much more effective he's going to be. Urban Meyer needs to give it up and let Kevin Wilson run the offense. Let him do his job. That is the one thing that if I could change only one thing, it would be let Kevin Wilson run the offense.
That's a fabulous way to end the show. And I want to say I completely and totally agree with Duane. If there's one thing that would fix what I believe would be the biggest possible fix they can do right now, it's really not a personnel thing. It's a scheme thing. There was a 3rd and long that they showed from the quarterback view, and it was 3 guys running a button hook at 10 yards, and JT looking confused. I've seen that movie. Okay, it's a rerun, and it wasn't one I would watch. It's not going into syndication. Please give over the keys to Kevin Wilson. Let's get some creativity here. We've seen what it looks like when an offense has a brilliant play caller mixing it up and keeping you on your heels. We just watched Oklahoma do that to Ohio State. So that's how we'll finish it, with the head coach, Duane Long, handing over the keys to Kevin Wilson. Have a good one, Bucknutters.